It's Christmas in July for Minnesota football fans, where instead of snow, they get purple rain in Mankato. And with most of the defending NFC North champions returning this year, there's real optimism that the Vikings will be playing deep into the winter. Well, a year where the championship games are rematches of last season's tournament, here's something new. This is the new Summit League Championship Trophy. Now, this thing just used to be a plain Jane plaque. Now it's bigger, it's brighter. And at about 10 o'clock tonight, most of the people in this building are going to hope that South Dakota State's men are hoisting it and going to the big dance. But we all have to get a summer job after we graduate high school. I can't imagine one much better than Mitchell's Tevin Waddell had, swimming in the Olympic trials. How has this been for you? This is a pretty good summer vacation.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly rather be here than any other place for a summer vacation.
Championship celebrations are becoming a rite of passage for the South Dakota State women. I'm with someone who's seen plenty of them growing up in Mitchell and someone who just experienced her second. Carrie Young, Carrie, second title. How did this one feel, especially beating USD after they'd swept you in the regular season?
You know, there's no better feeling.
Well, I had been planning on showing you some of the attractions for fans outside of the pool here in Omaha, but when it comes to swimming in the Olympics, there is no bigger fan attraction than Michael Phelps, the 22-time Olympic medalist, 18 of those gold, took to the pool for the first time today, swimming in the 200-meter butterfly. Welcome to the happiest place in South Dakota. The Jackrabbits going to the big dance. I'm joined by a guy who hit a couple of dagger three-pointers, Reed Tellinghuse and Reed. Last year, the heartbreak. The last 2 days were nuts. How does this feel?
Yeah, it feels great. You know, we came into this game thinking redemption from last year. They got us last year. We had a chance to win on the last second shot, and we just missed it. And those first two games, they were crazy. We stuck together as a group, and I thought we did a great job of fighting.
Going back to Chad Greenway, talking with his teammates, they cannot imagine what it's going to be like to come out here in a year and not see number 52. When I asked Captain Munnerlin what kind of retirement gift they would get Greenway, you don't have to be a dummy to figure this one out. It's a Super Bowl ring. Live from Mankato, Zach Borg, KDLT Sports. Every scorer needs a helping hand. For Viborg Hurley's Abby Hora, it's Dwayna Lee.
We're crazy people. We're together and we laugh at anything, and people are like, what are you laughing at? We're like, I don't know.
So when Abby had a chance to make history and score her 2,000th point, there's one person she wanted to get the ball from.
We've been planning that, and we've been playing together since 4th grade.
Her best friend, who plays with one arm.
For her to be able to do what she does, it's simply amazing.
Dwayna was born on the Rosebud Reservation without a fully formed right arm and came to Viborg at the age of 4 under the foster care of Christy and Denny Lee.
She's very, very introverted, did not want any eye contact with anybody. She's just had been through a lot.
Eventually adopted by the Lees, and with the support of the community and neighbor Abby, Dwayna began to flourish.
I never was told, you can't do this, you only have one arm, and I don't know, I've never learned any different.
Which included learning to play volleyball and basketball.
She's a survivor. They were going to get her a special keyboard when she was in typing, and she turned out to be one of the fastest typers in the class, so they decided she didn't need that. She just doesn't ask for any favoritism. She just doesn't need any.
Becoming a parent when Dwayna worked her way into Viborg Hurley's starting lineup, helping lead the Cougars to a 16-3 record her senior season.
Felt pretty amazing. My job out here is to shoot, and obviously I've gotten a lot better with driving. And if I don't get a good drive, then I quickly pass it out.
She just eats basketball up. She can catch a ball in a dead run. She can just do whatever it's just, how to say that, natural. With one arm, she could do just things so naturally. It's just amazing.
Next year, the scorer and her best friend won't be on the same side. Lee will leave her playing career behind to go to college at Sioux Falls, while Abby will play at crosstown rival Augustana.
She's like, oh, if I don't like my roommate, I'm going to come over.
Just because she won't be playing,
do what you want, like what you can do. It's like, obviously God had a plan for you, and just go with it. Don't care what anyone else thinks.
Doesn't mean Dwayna won't find a way to help others. In Viborg, Zach Borg, KDLT Sports. College baseball is a young man's game, the perfect fit for a freshman.
Really just makes you feel young.
Even if he's 42 years old, like Dakota State's Jay Toller.
And he's a little kid at heart.
When he wasn't on his regular job as bank manager in Vermillion, Toller was a part-time assistant coach for the Trojan baseball team, until some late transfers forced Coach Scott Hortness to make an unusual request.
Sent me a text, and I kind of thought he was joking right away.
We just told him the truth. We're in, a little short-handed.
He calls me later that night and says, "No, we're serious. We had 2 guys leave. We need a catcher. How much eligibility you have?"
Because he never played when he first went to college 20 years ago, and with the aid of online courses, Jay was able to enroll and play as a freshman.
I play with a lot of these kids, or against them most of the time anyway, for the last 3, 4, 5 years in the amateur ball circuit in South Dakota. So I was confident that I could kind of compete with them at this level.
Jay's playing with kids who are half his age, if you can't tell.
Jay doesn't act like he's 42, I'll say that.
While playing one of the most demanding positions on the field.
You feel the little things a little bit more than you used to. It's the catching the Saturday and then catching the Sunday game also.
I get sore, so I can imagine when he goes through and he goes back to work the next week.
Yet Toller's been a steady presence under the mask.
Major league team having a young pitching staff, first thing they do is go out and get a catcher with experience to help lead them through, and that's kind of what Jay's doing.
And just another one of the guys in the clubhouse.
I hope I can still play when I'm 42. I envy the guy. Very intelligent. Calling a game.
Though Jay likely won't be playing for the Trojans through his senior year.
What I'll take away is just, the camaraderie. My intention wasn't to prove it. My intention was to kind of help the teams. I think we're 5-0 the games I've caught. So that part is what I'm proud of.
He's proven that you're never too old to play the grand old game. In Madison, Zach Borg, KDLT Sports.
The South Dakota State women are facing their biggest test to date. The 12-seeded Jacks squared off with 4-seeded Stanford in the NCAA tournament, a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. KDLT's Zach Borg joins us now with a look at how the SDSU women are faring.
Well, and sadly I've got breaking news because it just literally ended as you said this. I guess let's roll the highlights because it is over. South Dakota State led by 8 in this game. It's just gone finals. Stanford is 166-65. Heartbreaking. We'll show you some first half highlights of this one. Again, it just ended. Clarissa Ober starts the game off with a 3 for South Dakota State. They really got off to a great start, hit the first couple of buckets in this game. Macy Miller's going to add a left-handed scoop as she drives in. She had a phenomenal game as well. 2 great games for her. South Dakota State off to the early advantage. Then it's Madison Giebert, who of course had the big game against Miami. It's 11-6 South Dakota State at this point. Then Stanford, as you knew they were gonna, they start to come back. Erica McCall had 9 in the first half. The Cardinal were up by 1 after 1. Carly Samuelson kept it going against AJ's team. She hits a 3. It was part of a 9-0 run. This is when you kind of thought, okay, maybe Stanford, the perennial power, is going to pull away. But the Jackrabbits came back. This is Carrie Young for 3 of her 7 in the first half. Jacks were down 6 at half. They led by as many as 8 in the second half. But as we take a look at the scoreboard right now, it literally just ended a few moments ago. What happened, we're going to hopefully have some more highlights coming up here in the Sportscast. Lily Thompson, State led by 2. Lily Thompson hit a bucket and was fouled. Might have been a questionable call, but South Dakota State 1 point short of the Sweet 16. And this is almost literally what happened 7 years ago. 2009, they were in this position at Baylor, lost on a buzzer beater with 1 second left. Virtually the same thing just happened. I mean, South Dakota State had a couple of shots at it, but
I think they showed a lot of people how tough they are, though.
Yeah, I mean, they've said this is their goal for a long time coming, and it's so tough in the women's game. We see it a little more in the men's because there's a little more parity, but there's so much power at the top. But this is South Dakota State's goal. They've been wanting this for a long time, and this is I'm sure they're crushed right now, but they'll be very proud of what they did. TJ Otzelberger actually started the college basketball season in South Dakota when the then assistant coach at Iowa State helped the Cyclones beat Colorado at the Pentagon back in November. Today, he was back in the Rushmore State to start something else. A new era in Jackrabbit basketball. The man called Otz was officially introduced today as the head coach of the South Dakota State men's basketball team.
And Zach Borg is with me today, and a big day for Augustana.
Yeah, big day for our state, Andrea. The Vikings looking to do something that hasn't happened to a men's basketball team in the state in 53 years, and that's win a national title. Augustana playing Lincoln Memorial in Frisco, Texas, the Division II National Championship game this afternoon. A lot of Augie fans there, and they were pretty happy throughout. Early on, Alex Richter burying the long three-point basket. Vikings came out sluggish, but they got it going. They took the lead. Dan Jansen, who started for the first time in the tournament, gets it inside. Vikings were up 5 at the break. Casey Schilling had 20 points, but this guy Richter was clutch. He had 26. Augustana wins their first ever men's national title, 90-81. South Dakota Dakota State has never shied away from a challenge since moving to Division I nearly 13 years ago, and today the football program faces its biggest in the 2016 season kickoff. Jackrabbits visiting 13th ranked TCU of the Big 12. Well, with Tyler Duffy taking the hill today, the question for the Twins is, how do you support a pitcher who has a 9.17 earned run average over the last 7 starts? The answer? Light up that sky like the 4th of July. The Twins turning their finale in the Bronx into a home run derby. Maestro, if you please. It starts in the 3rd inning. Danny Santana hits his 3rd home run, a solo shot. That makes it 1-0. In the 6th, Brian Dozier adds a 2-run bomb. It's 3-0. Bombs away in the 6th, literally. Next man up, Trevor Plouffe, making the ball go poof. That's back-to-back shots. 4-0. But one shot ain't enough, Jack. Max Kepler, he gonna make it 3. Back-to-back-to-back. It's 5-0 Minnesota. In the 7th inning, Eduardo Nunez. It's like Oprah. You get a home run. You get a home run. You get a home run. And finally, in the 9th inning, Juan Centeno blasts the Twins' 6th homer of the day. Almost makes you forget they're 23-51, doesn't it? Twins do get a win on this day, though, 7-1. Your final.
This will be the toughest game.
Over with a block. Marshall, step back and test it. 3, good. South Dakota State is going dancing.
6th Summit League Championship.
Step back 3, Macy Miller. Got for 3.
Bringing around the rim and down it goes. It's good for Nicole Seacamp.
Mike Tom has taken over.
We gotta play like all day long, all night long.
Right up front. Right up front's our game plan. Attack the cut and press it.
Spins through the middle. Another touchdown for Chris Traveler.
He's going to look for the end zone. He's got
it wide open.
And it's
caught for a touchdown. Touchdown! Touchdown! Yeller's going to get it. Oh, yeah. Whipple, goodbye. Goodbye, Connie Whipple.
Is this guy good or what?
He'll take it right up the gut. He's got nothing but open space in front of him, and Crystal McElvain scores a touchdown right up the gut.
Over the middle again. Oh, man, it's going to go all the way.
Tipped and intercepted. Oh, my God.
And a gaping hole here for Isaac Wallace. Isaac Wallace with speed to midfield.
Hyde rolling to his right, throwing it up in the back of the end zone. How